Hi, Alison? Hi, yeah, it's me, Alex. Wow, you sound so different on the phone. It's good to talk to you too. No, the last time we talked, I think we weren't even teenagers yet, so. Yeah, I'm so glad I found you online. Thanks for giving me your number. Well, I've been thinking, I would love to see you, and I could host. That'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. We used to be like two peas in a pod, and I miss you.
The story of Alex and Alison, two former best friends who reconnect after years apart, only to discover how much they've changed, yet ultimately stumble upon a mutual truth about their identities, provides a layered and heartfelt exploration of queerness, reconnection, and the evolution of selfhood within the LGBTQ experience. At its surface, the plot sounds simple. Two people once close are now distant, estranged. By the passage of time, geographic shifts, and the natural divergence of lives, they meet again, expect some sort of warm rekindling, and instead find only discomfort. That disappointment alone is relatable, as it echoes the universal human experience of expecting familiarity and discovering difference, of seeing someone once so central to your personal narrative become almost unrecognizable. But the film's heart rests in the twist when Alex and Alison realize they share something far deeper than hobbies, tastes, or current lifestyles. They are both lesbians. This revelation collapses the awkward distance between them, not because their identities erase the real differences they now hold, but because it provides a foundational truth and point of connection that allows them to build something new in the ruins of their lost friendship. What makes this especially resonant in an LGBTQ context is how identity often creates bonds where other kinds of similarity fail. In queer communities, there is an almost unspoken recognition, a sense that the world has pressed you through similar crucibles of secrecy, revelation, rejection, or affirmation. Alex and Alison may no longer like the same music, movies, or hobbies. They may no longer share the shorthand and inside jokes that once defined their youth. They may have grown into people who would never be friends if they met anew in adulthood. Yet discovering they are both lesbians gives them something far more profound than a shared playlist ever could. It gives them mutual recognition in a world that too often denies it. Historically, queer relationships and friendships alike have flourished not despite differences, but because the act of survival and authenticity in a heteronormative society creates solidarity across otherwise unbridgeable gaps. The narrative also captures an important dynamic often underexplored in LGBTQ film and literature: the awkward, sometimes painful evolution of friendships across time. Many queer people can recall friendships that seemed unbreakable, only to fade when paths diverged. For queer women especially, the experience of intense girlhood bonds blurring into something more or falling apart when sexuality is unspoken or misunderstood is a recurring theme. By beginning the story with the collapse of their old bond, the film emphasizes that identity does not magically restore past connections, but instead creates the possibility of new ones. Their queerness does not rewrite history, but reframes it. That reframing is essential because it mirrors the way many queer people look back on their lives once they've come into their identities. Suddenly, old conversations, friendships, or conflicts take on new meanings. The fights that once seemed petty may reveal buried crushes. The intensity of friendship may show itself as early attraction. The distance that formed may have been partly about unspoken truths both people were running from. When Alex and Alison rediscover each other as lesbians, they are not just meeting in the present, they are reinterpreting their past. For LGBTQ viewers, this scene may spark memories of former best friends, former rivals, or former classmates with whom the discovery of shared queerness later reshaped the story. It affirms the idea that coming out at any age is not just about declaring who you are now, but also about revisiting who you were and seeing it anew. The spark that follows between Alex and Alison is equally important to analyze. Too often, queer characters in mainstream narratives are allowed queerness only as a tragic or marginal detail. Here, however, queerness is the catalyst for joy, intimacy, and possibility. The spark is not only romantic, but symbolic. It is the ignition of authenticity, the light of recognition between two people who finally see each other clearly after years of obscurity. The moment suggests that what matters most is not that they diverged in interests, but that they converged in truth. In broader LGBTQ culture, this reflects the way community often forms not from superficial similarities but from deeper affirmations of identity. Gay bars, pride events, support groups, or online spaces bring together people of vastly different ages, backgrounds, and lifestyles. A lawyer and a punk musician may have nothing in common until they realize they both know what it feels like to come out to a skeptical parent, or to navigate a hostile workplace, or to find joy in chosen family when blood relatives fall short. Alex and Alison's story condenses that into the personal, showing that recognition can be as intimate as it is communal. What the film also highlights is the bittersweetness of change. Alex and Alison cannot go back to being who they were, and the film refuses to indulge in easy nostalgia. Instead, it acknowledges that loss is part of life, even as it creates space for renewal. This honesty is crucial in queer storytelling because LGBTQ people often face ruptures, whether in family ties, friendships, or communities that cannot simply be restored to what they were before. The beauty lies not in pretending the rupture didn't happen, but in creating something new in its wake. Their romance, or even just their reconnection, becomes a metaphor for queer resilience, the ability to transform brokenness into something vital. From a cultural standpoint, the film also resonates with the growing visibility of lesbian narratives in media. For decades, lesbian characters were either erased, fetishized, or doomed to tragic endings. To tell a story where two women discover their identities and find joy in each other without sensationalizing or moralizing is itself a cultural shift. The focus is not on their suffering but on their recognition, not on external disapproval but on internal discovery. It reflects the broader movement in LGBTQ representation towards centering queer joy and authenticity rather than limiting stories to trauma. The film also invites reflection on generational queer experiences. If Alex and Alison are reconnecting after moving away, one might imagine they grew up in a place where being queer was less visible or less accepted, and only later in life did they come into their identities. That trajectory mirrors the reality of many queer adults who came of age before widespread acceptance and had to navigate their sexuality later, often in isolation. Their discovery of each other now becomes doubly poignant. It's not only a romantic or a relational spark, but a correction of the isolation they endured separately. Finally, the film's structure: awkward reunion, disappointing divergence, sudden revelation, joyful spark, mirrors the queer journey itself. Many queer people experience periods of alienation from peers or themselves, followed by moments of startling recognition, followed by the joy of living authentically. The story thus operates both as a personal tale of two women and as an allegory of queer life more broadly. It teaches that identity can bridge divides, that authenticity creates connection, and that even when relationships change beyond recognition, shared truth can still bring people together in surprising ways. In its simplicity, the story captures something profound: the resilience of queer connection, the power of recognition, and the possibility of joy even in the most unexpected reunions. For LGBTQ viewers, Alex and Alison's journey reflects the bittersweet truth that, while time and change may estrange us, queerness has the power to reconnect us, not by restoring the past, but by sparking something entirely new. In the present, something both surprising and deeply undeniably real.